All right, I tuned in for a Detroit Lions show, and I got a rock concert to start off with the intro. Hey, welcome to Lions Talk Live. It is Friday. I am your host once again, Dan Thornton. So a little bit of greetings and salutations to everybody out there in YouTube land. And hey, we've got a show for you today, but I do need to let you know that it is going to be an abbreviated show. We're only going to be able to go for I'm going to try as best I can to stretch it to 30 minutes, but I do have some work-related things going on today, so I'm going to have to cut off just a little bit early. So hopefully not a big issue for anybody out there, as it is Friday, and I know probably everybody's got some stuff going on. All right, a couple things, as you can tell from the thumbnail within the video. Probably going to get more and more of this going on as we really get closer and closer to the season. But Connor Orr, if you don't know who he is, he's a longtime writer, reporter for Sports Illustrated. He's gone out and picked the Detroit Lions to win this dang thing. He's gone out and picked the Lions to win the Super Bowl and get into things. He actually goes on to say he believes this team is going to have a dominating season, that they're just not going to get into the Super Bowl, but they're going to have a dominating season leading up into them getting the Super Bowl. So we will go ahead and discuss that here in just a minute. A couple of things, though, real quick. We're going to have 5 headlines now. And then before we do that, if you guys are new to the channel, hey, think about subscribing. We're making a push to get to 6,800, about 50 subs away. Also, if you're enjoying the video and everything within it, go ahead and hit that thumbs up button. Last but never least, if you're looking to buy or sell property anywhere in the great state of Michigan, go ahead and give me a call, shoot me a text. You see the number on the screen, 269-998-2384. You can contact me. Let me use over 30 years of experience in the industry to save you a little bit of money, a lot of hassle, make the process a whole lot easier. It could be vacant land, commercial property, new house, secondary house, whatever it is. Let's make sure you get the best deal possible. All right, let's go ahead and get this thing moving. Since we are an abbreviated edition, we do have 5 headlines. And you know what? We've got 5 headlines now. All right, so as you guys probably anticipate this time of year, things do get a little bit slower, but we do have some news that's going to affect the Detroit Lions, and that we're going to start off with the Green Bay Packers have claimed place kicker James Turner off waivers on Thursday. As we're all probably aware, the Green Bay Packers have been looking for a new kicker. They tried to sign Nate Bates just last week. That didn't happen, so when the Lions released James Turner, he was able to find new employment elsewhere, and unfortunately, it's going to be with our division rival, the Green Bay Packers. I'm sure most of you are aware that I predicted the Lions did him a solid by letting him go now versus waiting through like the middle or latter part of training camp, just so he could have an opportunity to find new employment elsewhere. So that's a real strong move by the Detroit Lions and showing that, hey, they are worried about the players. If they can't help them out directly by employing them with this franchise, they're going to do everything they can to help them out. They're cognizant of the morality of it all. All right, Kelly Stafford, not exactly Detroit Lions news, but one of you guys sent this over to me in a message earlier today, and I figured, why not? It's Friday, throw it out there. Kelly Stafford has come out and said yesterday that she dated his backup quarterback to make him jealous. And I didn't read the full story, so I apologize. I don't know if this is from back in high school, college, or if it was yesterday. Whatever it is, though, hey, good for Kelly Stafford trying to put Matt Stafford in place. All right, proposed trade ships 3-time All-Pro safety Budda Baker to the Detroit Lions. So this is something that's been popping up more and more, and I get it's a slower time of the year. Writers, hey, they've got to stay employed, so they got to come up with stories. Could there be some truth to this? Who knows, man? I would say, would the Detroit Lions take Budda Baker? I'm not sure. To be honest, I'm just not sure. I think he's a very good safety. I'm just not sure if he's a great coverage safety. And there lies the problem, I believe, with him. Baker, a playmaker, yada, yada. But the Lions seem to want everybody to be able to cover pretty soundly in man-to-man principles. Most of the corners are basically safeties, and most of the safeties can play corner for the Detroit Lions. So could this happen? I guess we'll have to wait and see. The Detroit Lions fan experience has dramatically changed with Detroit Lions' recent rise. You can find stories about this online. Don't ask me exactly who the writers were on that one because I did not write it down. Apologies. But I think most of us agree. In the last 2 seasons prior to this upcoming one, the fan experience at the Ford Field has changed exponentially. Just with the rise in the team's abilities, their ability to perform, the experience has gone up. And yes, I'm sure we're all also aware the price tag for that experience has risen just a wee bit. All right, and then the last one, I really like this one. Jack Campbell and Broderick Martin selected as, quote, most likely to be among Lions players to break out 2024/25. So, Captain Jack, you've heard a lot of people writing about his performance so far in the offseason, OTAs, etc., minicamp, whatever. He's looked very good. Kelvin Shepard, the Lions linebacker coach, has come out and said, he's starting to look like a 8 seasons veteran linebacker out there, just performing well, anticipating routes, just making play after play after play. Now, it's one thing to do it mini camp, OTAs, whatever. It's another thing to do it in the preseason, and even yet another thing to rise the level of his performance in the regular season. But I think we all can say this, throughout the season a year ago, he did steadily get better and better. When it comes to Broderick Martin, he's the big question mark. We all know he's got tons of athleticism, explosion, strength, power, speed, the whole shebang-a-bang. What he didn't have is a lot of polished technique, and something the Lions staff consistently was working with him on just a season ago. He was last year's Giovanni Manu. I mean, somebody with all the raw physical skills, just needs some coachability to happen to bring up the level of his abilities. And it appears that some people in Vegas and some sports writers are picking him to be not a starter, not an all-pro or anything, but somebody who's going to make a significant impact for the Detroit Lions this upcoming season. All right, so with the 5 headlines out of the way, let's go ahead and get to the main topics of the day. So, as we said, Connor Orr has picked the Detroit Lions to have a Super Bowl season. What say you guys about this? What says the Dew Crew about it? I know we've talked about it. We've had records. We've had thoughts. We've had debates even yesterday. They had somebody else come out and say, or the NFL Network saying that they believe that the Chicago Bears are going to go out and win the NFC North, that the Green Bay Packers are not going to make the playoffs, and that really it is going to be a 3-team race for the NFC North. The separation between the Chicago Bears and the Green Bay Packers, according to yesterday's reports, were that it would be very, very minimal, that, really just a game or two is what's going to decide this thing. When it comes to today's report, though, and Connor Orr, he's saying the Lions are just going to have a dominating season and run rampant over everybody throughout the regular season, the postseason, all the way to a Super Bowl championship. So that's quite a statement if you ask me. So let's see what you guys have to say about it. I'm going to say this. I do think there's some potential for the Lions to have an outstanding season. If you remember Dan O'Damas about a month ago when he came on, said, hey, early in the season, you should expect a whole lot of lopsided Lions wins just because the strength of the offense, the defense, the ability to create turnovers. When a lot of teams are breaking in new coordinators, head coaches, personnel, quarterbacks, there's some potential, I think, for the Lions to have a real strong start to the season. Now, will that continue throughout the season? I think the Lions are going to probably finish somewhere between 11 and 13 regular season wins. And then in the postseason, you guys already know my prediction. I predict them to make it to the Super Bowl. Didn't go further than that, but I do believe they'll make the Super Bowl this year. Let's see what you guys have to say. And good morning, all. JDC, morning, all. Good morning to you, too. Moonscar, happy Friday, Dew Crew, exclamation point. Dan the man on the microphone stand. Yes, all the above. And just so you know, you should be very proud of your I almost said Redskins. Sorry about that. Red Wolves yesterday. They had a strong outing, winning 4 straight games. So we did lose one in the semifinals by a single point. Had a chance to win it with a free throw, tie it and send it in overtime with a free throw with 1.2 seconds left. Unfortunately, the free throw was no good. But hey, for only having 7 kids and playing 5 games in a couple hours, I was pretty impressed with them. All right, Mike the Marine, howdy, Dan, and happy Friday. Do or die season. Woo, woo! And good morning to you, Gunny. Hopefully you're having a great one. And yes, it is a Mountain Dew season for us. Moonscar, I see the Packers pulled the trigger and picked up James Turner. Let's hope that doesn't come back to bite us in the rear. Yeah, I mean, I totally agree with you. Turner, all reports were that he was having a very strong offseason with the Lions. I think what it really just came down to is, does he have the range that some of the other guys have? That I didn't hear so much about. It seemed like he was more like 50 and under. He's good. And with the new rules today, with the kickoffs and stuff. I think the Lions were just looking for someone with a little bit more leg strength. But sounds like it was a good kicker. The Lions could have just held on to him longer. But I think, again, I know I mentioned it earlier, they did him a solid by letting him hit the streets now, so he had more time to find employment. All right, Bo, what do you know, Bo? Good morning, Duke Crew. The view from here, question mark, I see Super Bowl. Woo! And you know what? I concur. All right, Brett, good morning, everyone. Lombardi or bust, exclamation point. Oh, yeah, and I agree. Good morning, Brett. Don Burr, Banda, woo! Detroit versus everybody. Nothing more in life could be truer than that. Detroit versus everybody. Bo, this SI guy does a better job than Seth guy. Most people do not think Goff is a lesser quarterback. Our offseason is definitely outstanding. I would agree. And I get people have to come up with hot takes, whatever stuff to write about. I mean, it's part of the industry. And when people say there's things like clickbait or whatever on YouTube, man, that's no different than the 1800s with flashy headlines or whatever. It is what it is. It is a slower time of the year. People do have to come up with things to write about. Now it's whether or not you actually believe there's validity to it. The guy that you're referring to that said, hey, the Lions had like a bottom 6 offseason, I'm not really sure what he's looking at, but to each their own. I would say this. I think Connor Orr is pretty on point when you go through. If you want, go to SI.com. Check out his 100 bold predictions for the 2024 season. There are a couple other ones that pertain to the Detroit Lions, but long story short, it ends with the Lions beating the Cincinnati Bengals in the Super Bowl. And I'm not sure if I would have picked the Lions to play against the Cincinnati Bengals, but I guess, hey, who am I? I'm thinking they're going to be in there to win it, and then perhaps they will. All right, Stephanie, good morning, boys. Exclamation point. On your way to the gym, we'll listen in, hoping everyone has a great day and weekend. Same to you. Enjoy the gym. Gunny, what do you got? Happy Friday. Back at you. Jesse, greetings and salutations. The final countdown is on until training camp. Yes, for the first time in my life, I believe we can win this thing. Yeah, I think if you're a Detroit Lions fan, I mean, last year, I'm going to guess a lot of fans felt anxiety throughout the entire season. Why? The season before, we finished 9-8, had the huge run at the end of the year, knocked Green Bay Packers out of potentially making the playoffs. There was a lot of good about that season. And then you come into last year, and I think there were a lot of Lions fans just because we've been beaten down for so long that we're just waiting for things to fall apart. And then when basically Thanksgiving happened, I think a lot of fans said, here we go. We knew it was coming. But then an odd thing happened. We went through a little blurb of a couple weeks where we didn't play great. We lost a couple games, sure. But we regrouped, we were focused, we made it to the playoffs, and then we did the seemingly unthinkable by Lions standards. We won a playoff game, and then we won 2 straight playoff games. Something I've never seen before in my lifetime. So to your point, I think, yes, most Lions fans are feeling more and more confident, more and more like this could really happen. You see all the moves in the offseason. You see the strength of the team, and it's across the board. You see the front office. I think you're right. There's a lot of people that believe we're in it to win it this year. This is actually something that could happen for the Detroit Lions fans. And you know what? Good for us. All right, Frank the Tank, a morning to all. Woo! Go Lions, 100% Frank, and good morning to you. France, good evening, all. I'm ready to have a few days off work. I have to believe the Lions will have several reporters and outlets selecting us as Super Bowl favorites. I agree. Yeah, I think the Lions will be. Well, I'm not going to say they'll be the number one selected team to make the Super Bowl or win the Super Bowl, but I think you'll see a lot of people when the predictions all start coming out, probably right around the end of next month or maybe early part of August. Yeah, the Lions will be one of the favorites. Frank again. Frank, I predict the Lions to win the Super Bowl in Super Bowl 1304 regular season. A 13-4 regular season record home field. All right, yeah, home field. Yeah, I'll go with that. 14-3 says Bo. All right, man, we are pushing that envelope, and I'll take it, man. Hey, look, why don't we just say 17-0? Let's go with that. Push it. All right, Frank. I predict the 13-4 home field advantage all throughout us and against the Ravens. All right, so Lions versus Ravens. I'll take that. All right, Clark Griswold, what do you got? Green salutations. Super Bowl or bust. I'll go with that. And good morning to you too, sir. Let's see, Patrick. I bet Broski Bear hates this by SI writer. But unless the Lions have major collapse, they are Super Bowl bound! Exclamation points. Woo! And I would agree. I think the Lions have one of the best opportunities in front of them. I like how the season schedule sets up. I've said this before. While I don't like having the bye so early, what it does give us is 2 weeks to rest up early in the season, recuperate, and prepare to go into the Dallas Cowboys lair and beat the Cowboys at home at Jerry's World. All right, Frank, Fuzzy Bear doesn't know what to do. Bears be lucky to win 7 games. Go Lions. Yeah, if they really don't have a very good performance by Caleb Williams in one of the strongest divisions in the NFL, the NFC North, they might finish, as you're suggesting, Frank, around 6-7 wins. Eddie, what do you got? Good morning, fellow Duke Crewers! Exclamation point. Anyone else ready for the season? Question mark. I know I am. Yeah, I think everybody at this point, hey, the fun of the free agent window is over. Same with the draft. OTAs, rookie camp. Those were some good stuff just to hear about some other guys. How are some of the rookies looking? Maybe some of the new to Lions players, some of the undrafted free agent news, all that stuff. It gets you by a little bit. But to your point, I think we're kind of hitting that low where everybody's now ready to get this thing happening. All right, Frank, take East Side. It will be an epic year. Laporta, James Brown, Gibbs, Montgomery, Jameson, Goff. Any defense will be awesome. Go Lions. Yeah, the better than better the defense performs, assuming the offense just maintains what they've done on average the last 2 seasons. This team could be crazy good. And you look at all the potential, but that's also the scary part. Right now, it's just potential, what this defense could be. But potentially, I believe it will be a very dominant defense. All right, 70, does anyone know if Houston is fully healed up and healthy? Question mark. I haven't heard much on him or Mosley in a minute. To be honest, since mini camp, you heard a little bit about Houston having to take a couple days off, but then he came back fine. I think he's just going through some of the getting faith back in the leg, getting some of the kinks worked out of that injury. Mosley, I have not heard anything about. My guess is he's aware if he wants to be employed by the Detroit Lions, he's got to have a pretty good training camp. There's just so much depth in that secondary spot, and there's some real players out there. Manuel Mosley, when fully healthy, we all remember him with the 49ers. He's a pretty good player, and he's still pretty young. All things being considered, I want to say he's only like 26 or 7. Don't hold me to that, but that sounds right. So I would say he is aware he needs to come out and perform, or he's probably hitting the streets and trying to find employment somewhere else. All right, Frank, thank East Side and this Lions are not going to trade none of their players. They picked the players because they love their players. This team is different. These coaches are different. Yeah, I don't think, to your point, Frank, I don't see us really making a trade unless we really have some injuries or really area of concern on this team. I think this staff, this front office, they show loyalty to the guys they brought in, whether free agency or the draft or whatever. So unless there's really a reason to go out and get somebody else, I wouldn't anticipate them running out to openly try to acquire new players. Never know, though. Never know. Patrick, I also think that Bates will improve a bunch because he'll be practicing not only field goals, but also extra points, where in the UFL, he didn't have to. Yeah, I think there'll be a lot of upside to Jake Bates just because I know some of you guys have brought it to my attention. He's really only been a kicker for about a year. Now, I get he was a kickoff specialist in college. He did some kicking in high school and stuff like that. But really, it's just been the past 12 months, whether the UFL or, last year was it with the Texans or whatever in their training camp, where he's really been a I guess you could say, full-time kicker. And because of that, I think the upside to him is pretty noticeable. He's going to skyrocket up there, get noticeably better. I think they've got a real weapon in him if he can develop. So wait and see, but I've got expectations for this kid. I'm Michael D. Great salutations, Coach and Duke Crew! Exclamation points. Super Bowl or bust. One pride. Woo, woo. And good morning to you, Michael. Hopefully having a great one. Frank, think time to go get that Mountain Dew and Snickers. Go Lions, 100%. Yeah, as soon as I'm off the air here, I'll be heading on out, getting that, hitting the gym, and then heading to work a little bit earlier than normal today. All right, see, Lions fan number one, Green Sanitations gang, I'm with you. Frank, laughing out loud. I am dragging a little bit today. Need something like a do or whatever. Well, get the do. Always powers me through. Detroit D, Green Sanitations, everyone. Back to you, D. Hopefully having a great day and a good upcoming weekend. Mike the Marine Gunny, defensive front, 7. Defensive tackle, defensive end. How many and who would you keep on the 53-man roster? All right, let's try to Scooby-Doo this. I probably would keep out of the front 7. Wow, so linebackers too. Probably keeping 4 linebackers, maybe 5. Let's go with 5. 5 linebackers. Defensive tackles, I'm going 4. So right there, you got 4, 5, 9, and then ends, probably another 5. So 14 altogether. And I don't, man, I would have to do a real deep thinking on who all those players would be, but that's how many I would keep. The good thing is some of those backers can play end. I'm not so sure if some of those ends can play backer, though. Some of those ends, though, can play inside on certain downs for the interior to help with the defensive tackles. So there you go. And maybe that's a good idea for another video another time. Steve Rogers, good morning, all. Hey, Dan, maybe just a video idea for you. Time for a 53-man roster prediction video? Question mark. Yeah, why not? I can do that tomorrow unless there's some real other breaking news or news topic that emerges. I can try to do a 53-man roster prediction video for tomorrow. So kudos to that on that one, Cap. All right, Silver Surfer, good morning, Coach and everyone else. I like being just an underdog. Being considered favored? Question mark. Not the Lions role unless they do finally pull out one of the hat. Yeah, and it will be new territory for most Lions fans, the Lions franchise, to be fair. But, hey, it's the price of our success, right? Rocky, now this SI writer has his stuff together. Yes, he's vastly different than the other guy. This guy's actually done his homework and said, hey, Lions actually had a pretty good offseason. Lions actually have one of the deepest teams in the NFL. And he goes on and talks about that if you want to check out the article. So kudos to him. Connor Orr is on top of it, and he's picking the Lions to beat the Cincinnati Bengals in the Super Bowl. So think about that for you guys. But, hey, good for him for having the cojones to go out there and call it out. So, all right, let's see. Back to the comment section here. Quentin, Green Sanitations all. Damn, that season needs to get right and here soon. I am bored of the offseason. Yeah, I get a lot of people are, man. It is what it is, but you're down to about a month until training camp. Frank Tank, Detroit Lions, you need to get home field advantage throughout the playoffs. I mean, I believe they can win anywhere, but we need home field. We need to win 13, 14 games this Go Lions. Okay, yeah, this season win that many. I'm with you there. It would be a heck of a thing for the Detroit Lions to win 13, 14 games. Not many teams ever do it. Think about Kansas City Chiefs. They only won, 11 regular season games last year, but they still got to the Super Bowl and they still won it. So, see what they can pull out this year. Hookadoo, good morning, Dan and the Duke crew. Woo! Go Lions, 100% Hookadoo. Hopefully have a good morning. Phil, good morning, friends. Good morning, Phil. How you doing today? Silver Server, hey, Don Burr, please stop writing ban the woo. Otherwise, the coach has to pronounce it. Fair enough. How about writing ban the W word? All right, fair enough. Some outside the box thinking there, Server. Phil, will the CFL players make the team? It's possible for sure. I think Betts has a chance. As far as Manu, even though he's not really a CFL player, he's a Canadian player. I think without question, he's going to make it this year. Probably next. After that, it's going to come down to how much he's improved. All right, and let's see. Oops, something happened there. Hold on a second. Something happened there, and all of a sudden, things flipped all the way to the bottom of the screen. Sorry about that, guys. All right, Anthony, good morning, Duke crew. Back at you. Thanks for all you do for the channel. Bo, raindrops keep falling on my head. Lovely Friday. At least no need for AC this weekend. Well, that's a good thing. I think it's going to be 90 here today or something like that. Let's see, Brent, agreed, Frank. We need to win the North and secure the number 1 seed. All roads go through Detroit. Oh, yeah. Anthony, hit that thumbs up. Oh, please, if you're watching the show and you enjoy it, go ahead and hit that thumbs up button. Broski Bear, good morning, Patrick Cheesebo, Duke crew. Broski, I was really looking for you yesterday with that prediction that the Bears were going to win the North. I thought you'd be all over that. Don, ban the W word. There you go. We'll be banning the W word. JDC, WWW. All right. Phil, W word. All right. Phil, oh, yeah. Don, skip the Bears, 100%. Let's see, Patrick, Broski Bear. Good morning, my friend. Have a great day, and greetings and salutations, Dew Crew. Back at you, Patrick. Anthony, I don't want to say it, but yes, agree the Lions are going to dominate the division and everyone else. I think that's how it's going to go. That's my opinion. Now, dominant can be a relative word, so we'll just say this. I think the Lions are going to win the North. I think they're going to try as best they can to be the number one seed and secure home field advantage throughout the playoffs. All right, yada, yada, badass. Good morning, Coach Dew Crew. Woo, woo. And good morning to you, too. Hopefully you have an outstanding day. Never gets old. All right, Broski, Patrick, have a great day, sir. Phil, of course, Green Bay will take any Lions castaways. Lions have rent-free in those cheeseheads. Yes, they do live there rent-free, my friend. Let's see, Anthony, laughing out loud. Teams picking up our scraps. Amazing how far we've come. Absolutely amazing. And wait until the cuts happen. I think you're going to have a whole lot of teams trying to pick up what we cut. All right, Broski, Bears don't need a new kicker. Carlos Santos was the team MVP last season. Fair enough. All right. I to be honest, I don't know much about the kicker for the Chicago Bears. All right, Silver Server, you know what, Coach Question Mark? I really enjoy preseason games. You're going to see players that you'd like to make the team that you follow perhaps for a few seasons already. Some you might never see in regular. Yeah, and some of them, let's be fair, some of them are going to be with new teams by the regular season. Kurt Steele, what up, though, Duke Crew? What up, Kurt? Hopefully having a great morning, my friend. Let's see, Anthony, Bears need an O-line. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Moonscar, Bo, send some of that rain down here to the southwest corner. Going to be hot down here. AC on overload. I predict Anthony T working OT this weekend. Yeah, that's a good point, Anthony. I'm sure this weather is keeping you gainfully employed, and hopefully you're doing okay with it. Let's see, Robert, greetings, Coach and crew. Back at you, Robert. Hopefully you're having a good morning. Phil, Kelly Stafford's tart. I'd get rid of her now. You know, hey, I didn't read the article, so I don't know if that story was 1,000 years ago or 10 minutes ago. That I don't know, but seems a little odd that she came out and said it. Phil, Boo the wife, she's dirt. Yes, 100%. Silver Server, thank you, Don B. Let's see, Bo, you can't have it, Moonscar. All right, Moonscar had a Buddha, not to get a Buddha. Yes, well, why not get the Buddha? Well, I'll leave that to them to debate. I just don't think he covers very well. That's my opinion. So, Anthony, hey, Mr. Steele, great to see you here. 100%. Always good to have the Steel Man here. Steel Fortress. And Anthony, I'm so busy. I have no doubt about that, man. You've got to be working like 24/7. Let's see. Broski, Matt Stafford is an embarrassment to men. He will now have to be referred to as Matt the Chuck Stafford. Yeah, probably a lot of truth to that. Let's see. Bo, Cap Jack is an easy call. Broderick Martin will be huge. Yes, if Broderick Martin really does come on and it just becomes a very good backup this season, then yeah, they've more than got the return on that investment. Because I think we all agree DJ and Aleem are pretty sound starters. But now if you can add a very athletic, backup, powerful defensive tackle behind them, you know, you just got better. I'd say, Don, Silver Server, my pleasure. Phil, those poor little Stafford girls are being raised to act like they're birth human. I hope they have more character than their mother. Their mother is starting to be exposed a little bit, I feel, in recent years. It just seems like odd behavior a little bit here and there. I'd see Doug, letting Turner go to Green Bay now keeps in-house secrets longer. The funny thing about prediction is, for young teams with a year to growth, who knows the degree of improvements? Show me on the field. 100%, yeah. Let's see what they can do on the field. See, Broski, Kurt Steele, what up? Yep, Don, could Jamal Agnew be brought in the number one punt returner? Could he be? Sure. It could be. And he's proven himself in the NFL. I haven't watched him in a year or two since he really left Detroit, but could he? Yes. See, Moonscar, I keep 3 capacitors on hand at all times. $15 to $20 versus $125 service call for 15 minutes worth of work and turning a dozen screws. I can do that myself. Well, if you can do it, then yes, you'll be saving significantly. Anthony, do people understand that if our last year rookies break out, oh my, oh my. Yeah, and that's the thing. You have so many rookies that did so well last year. Imagine what year 2 will be like with these guys. You're spot on with that, Anthony. Don back 100%. Yada badass coach. I'm sorry, but Lions not winning Super Bowl under bum Goff. Hopefully, I'm wrong. I do believe we'll get to the Super Bowl, not win it. Yeah, it could happen. To be honest, though, man, yada yada. Us making the Super Bowl, of course, we make it. I'm going to want us to win it. But man, that would be an achievement in itself, just seeing the Lions in the Super Bowl. Let's see, Anthony. Yeah, it kills me that companies that go out and charge homeowners $400 to charge a run camp. Well, everybody's trying to make a living, and sometimes they're going to make a living at your expense. I guess that's what I could say. Phil, love to see Chicago beat the snot out of Green Bay. We might get that this year. Maybe. We'll see. Big Daz, good morning, Coach. And to see in the Duke crew, we don't need a safety. We could use a big wide receiver and maybe a veteran backup quarterback. I'm wondering about the receiver, and I think a lot of the quarterback stuff will just come down to what we see in the preseason games. Hooker looks, better and better each week. Probably not going to go get somebody. If he doesn't, though, that's where I think the Lions could make the jump and try to go after a veteran quarterback. And the $12 part and 5 minutes, 100%. 100%. Gary, good morning, Duke crew. Back at you, Gary. Moonscar thumbing up. Don Burr, if Goff can get us to the Super Bowl, he can win it. Laughing out loud. Getting there is harder than actually winning it. Heck, yes, I'll go with that. I'd see Broski, Phil, you and me both. Bears need to stop embarrassing themselves when they play the Fudgies. Yeah, it's hey, sometimes teams just have your number for whatever reason. At this point, Broski with Chicago and Green Bay, I think it's got to be more psychological than anything else. Let's see, yada yada. Don Burr, woo, woo, woo. Yes, 100%. You got to have the woos going and have them going early and often. Never gets old. Yeah, Gordon, there you go. Patrick, my predictions: Lions win-loss record is 14 to 15 wins with 2 to 3 losses. Now that would be one heck of a season. Silver Server, just to repeat myself over and over, I really need to see something out of Broderick Martin before I believe. College film does not convince me. Really do not. We shall see. I hope he will surprise me. Yeah, I mean, and we're all going off the potential of Broderick Martin. So hopefully somebody knows something. See, Phil, did Goff spend time with receivers again this year at his home? That I don't know offhand, Phil. I believe there were some reports that he spent some time with the receivers in the offseason, but I can't say for that for sure. I just seem to remember it. See, Michael D., who has it better than us? Nobody. I'll go with that, Michael, and good morning. Patrick, Lions versus Browns in the Super Bowl in the 50s. Yes, it'd be returned to the 50s if that happened this year. Let's see, Silver Server. On the other hand, I am curious about the development of Detroit native defensive tackle Chris Smith. He looks big and explosive. Wonder how much translating to the NFL. Maybe new coach will jumpstart him. It could be 100%. Silver Server, same thought on cornerbacks Gilmore and Deshaun Thousand. Gilmore, I think, has a chance. Who knows on everybody else? See, Patrick, the only thing that scares me is that the Lions coaches seem to be more relaxed and losing some focus. I hope it doesn't happen. Otherwise, we will collapse. Yeah, I don't think we're losing focus. I just think everybody's confident and they're focused on what to do. They've gone through some of the bumps and learning opportunities of the first couple of seasons being coaches in their respective capacities in the NFL. Now I think they've got a feel for it, a flow for things, but they're going to have to keep moving forward because now, I mean, it's not like anything that happened last year translates to this year. You got to do it all over again. Silver Server, Browns Lions in the bowl. I would love to see Patrick. Yeah, there we go. Anthony, I don't believe that Cheesebro. All right. Yada yada. Don, that's funny. He did that just with the Rams, and we all knew what happened. Just because you make it to the Super Bowl doesn't mean you get to win it. Woo, woo, woo! Yeah, and Goff did make it to the Super Bowl, as we all know. I would say this. He's at fault for missing one wide-open receiver for a touchdown, but Goff also did throw 2 touchdowns that were dropped. So if they hold on to those 2 drop touchdowns, and I don't remember the receiver's name offhand, I want to say it was Cook, then they would have won that Super Bowl. And then in which case, if Goff wins that Super Bowl, would he be in Detroit and with all that trade package be here in Detroit? So I guess I'm thankful for what has happened. Broski, big deal. The Lions beat the Rams and Bucks in the playoffs, then lost to the real team. Rams and Bucks aren't good. Well, there's that, but the Bears didn't even make the playoffs, so there's that too. Broski, you will never get to know the 6'6", 310-pound defense tackle Orc Dexter this season. We'll get to know him. All right, fair enough. He's kind of small though if he's only 310 pounds. I mean, Broderick Martin's like 350, and he's like 6'3", but he might not be 350 anymore. I know he's kind of slimmed down and bulked up exponentially. All right, a couple more minutes here, guys, and then I'm going to have to get out of here. Anthony, better check your stats on the Rams and the Bears. All right, fair enough. Courtney, good morning, Duke Crew! Exclamation points. Aren't Bears ready to hibernate in December? Ooh, good one, Courtney, and laughing out loud. Let's see, Anthony, Rams are better than the Bears. That would be a good game, and I think they play this year. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think so. Yada, yada, 17-0 possible, Coach. At worst, they will go 12-5, and best 17-0. Woo! And, yeah, we go 17-0. Man, Lions fans are going to be crazy over the top come the playoffs. But, hey, let's focus one game at a time. Don, never say why win it because you made it. But the gauntlet of teams you have to face just to make it tells me you can make it if you can win it. To say, oh, I believe I can make it, but not win is funny. Yeah, if you to your point, Don, if you've gone through the regular season, you've gone through the playoffs, you've made the Super Bowl, you are capable of winning that game. Yeah, I get what you're saying. If you're that good, yes, you're fully capable of winning the Super Bowl. I'd say, Silver, almost everybody is completely supportive of Dan Campbell. I believe he really has to grow for this team to do it and to not get into details, but it has to do with respect for your players and opponents. I'll go with that. 100%, Surfer. Gary, good morning, all. Grit for life, exclamation points. So one day you get a guy saying we're not even going to win the division. Next day you got a guy saying we're going to win the Super Bowl. Oh, the offseason, you got to love it. Gary, you're not wrong, man. It's the offseason. Somebody's got to have a headline. Somebody's got to have something to write about. And to be fair, man, I'm doing what I can to just make sure we have content every day. So, you go up, you wake up in the morning at 5:30, whatever, you look through details. Some of you guys are kind enough to send me stories like today, the one on Kelly Stafford. But you're right. It's the offseason, and everybody's going to have their different opinions. Two people can look at the same story and see vastly different things. All right, see, Anthony, I'll retract that statement. I just hate the Bears. Fair enough. All right, see, Don, Dexter with the slow get off and the reaction timing, no worries. Yes. Broski, Courtney Nichols, if you remember, the Bears mauled the Lions in Chicago last December. It was a blowout. What was it, like 12 points, whatever? But, they went 1-1. So that's the only thing I would say, Broski, is you went 1-1 against us. And then the year before, you went 0-2. So you've won 1 out of the last 4 games. I don't remember the season before that, but I think you guys won those games. But, who knows, man? Everything changes the NFL so much from one season to the next. We'll have to wait and see what happens this year. Server, hit that like button for the coach. It's fast and free. Yes. If you can do it, pretty please with sugar on top. See, Phil, who would you trade to get Max Crosby? Nobody. The Raiders are going to want too much to ever get rid of Mad Max. I wouldn't trade anything. I wouldn't be interested in giving up 3 to 5 potentially impactful players for one guy. In the NBA that works. In the NFL, I just rarely see something like that working for the team that acquires the one player. Don, Bears fans say we mauled the Lions last year, but trailed at halftime in both games. Well, there's that part too. Good, fair point. Silver Server, Justin Fields whopped Lions, but I'll give you that. So happy he's gone. Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I was pretty happy to see Justin Fields get out of here. He was a matchup problem for the Lions. I've said my piece on Caleb Williams for, I think, a week or so now, so I'll move on from it, but we'll see what happens. All right, Don, what do you got? Herpes? Bears fans are flaring up. Yeah, well, it happens, man. Hey, Bears fans going to represent. I'd say, Don, Bustin Fields' Bustin Fields' record against the Detroit Lions in his 3 years is what? 2-4. That's not a whipping. Yes, I would agree with that. That's actually not the greatest record. I'd say, Michael, do we have any chance to snag Brandon Ayuk? It's going to be interesting to see what happens with the 49ers and him. I think somebody's got to give something at one point, whether or not he's going to end up in the Detroit Lions. Like when I did the video a couple days ago, I don't know, man. I guess let's see. Yada, yada. Silver, what the heck? Whoop, did you mean mopped? All right. We'll have to find out. Broski, Don Burr, Lions only had 13 first downs. Bears had 20. Lions had 3 turnovers. Bears, none. Final score, 28-13. Lions were mauled. All right. Fair enough. Well, I guess the Bears also were good enough to blow a big lead, too. Good morning from Texas, says Dominic, and good morning to you, too. Broski, Don Cleone, you spelled your name wrong. Well, only he knows how to spell his name. We'll go with that. Let's see, Chuck E. Cheese, speaking of home field advantage, I see Carlton Davis say last year that the Bucs come here. He said it was I-Tim. All right, I-Tim it is. Intimidating, maybe. Intimidating. I'll go with that. Don Broski, you tried both games. That's not a mauling. We split. Yes, we did split. All right, Silver Server. Yo, Cleone, forgive the question. Is it written like this, or did you want to write Carlton with an R as in Don's last name? It could be. Yeah, maybe that's just how he spells the name. See, 9 Drinks. Woo! Finally made it live. Well, welcome on in, 9 Drinks. Always good to have you here, my friend. Broski, Don Burr, need to learn to play a full game. That game was a mauling by NFL standards. Yeah, but, I mean, Broski, the only thing I'd say is your team did what last year, and you seem so focused on winning one game. I mean, one game can be a Super Bowl, but I guess what I'm getting out of this is perhaps that one game, the one against Lions was your Super Bowl. So there could be that, I guess. I don't know. Let's see, Moonscar, Bears come off their bye after the Lions came off a tough road win against the Saints. Not that it matters, but Bears down at half had more energy in the second. Could be that. Yep. Broski, Bears mauled Lions last December. Oh, yeah. There you go for Broski. All right, Chuck E. Cheese, intimidated by the home crowd. That's what Davis said when the Bucs came into Ford Field in the playoffs last year. He said, yes. Moonscar, Week 14 rookie wall has some effect. Always does. I'll go with that. All right, guys, I got to get out of here a little early. Sorry I didn't make it all the way through the comment section, but yeah, we got some comments going on here today. Sorry about that, guys. I just got to get going to some stuff a little bit earlier today. If there is some sort of breaking news today, I've got time, I'll go ahead and get it over to you guys. Otherwise, if you haven't yet subscribed, please consider doing so. Also, if you just take a real quick moment of time, hit the thumbs up button. Surely would be appreciated. Other than that, take care, enjoy your day, and we'll see you all on the next Lions Talk Live.
Happy trails to you until we meet again.